All right, let's dive in. Today, we're going to jump into a topic that can sometimes feel a little, well, tricky. We're talking about fractions, but trust me, by the end of this, we're going to make them feel totally straightforward. Let's get to it. You ever look at a fraction problem and just feel your head start to spin a little? If so, you are so not alone. It's a really common feeling. But today, our mission is to swap out that confusion for some real clarity, and we're going to start right from the very beginning.
All right, first up, what are fractions anyway? We're starting with the absolute basics.
So at its core, what even is a fraction? It's not some weird, complicated number. It's just parts of a whole. That's it. Think about it. A slice of pizza, a few minutes of an hour, a chapter in a book. They're all just fractions of something bigger.
And this is the perfect way to picture it. Imagine a pizza cut into 4 equal slices. If you grab one of those slices, you have 1 out of 4 pieces, right? You have 1/4. The bottom number, the 4, tells you how many slices make up the whole pizza, and the top number, the 1, tells you how many of those slices you actually have. See? Simple as that.
Okay, next up, we're multiplying with whole numbers. This is where we take the math off the page and put it into the real world.
So, let's put this into a real-world puzzle. Let's say a child drinks half a glass of milk every day for 3 days straight. How much milk did they drink in total? We've got our fraction, 1/2, and our whole number, 3. How do we figure this out?
Well, forget the rules for a second. Let's just think about what's actually happening. All multiplication really is just repeated addition. So, for 3 days, they had half a glass, plus another half a glass, plus a third half a glass.
And if you add up those 3 halves, what do you get? You get 3 halves, or 3/2. Now, we call that an improper fraction, which sounds kind of scary, but all it means is that the top number is bigger than the bottom. You can easily picture it, right? It's 1 full glass and then a half glass left over. So the big takeaway is 3 times a half is 1.5.
Ready for another one? This one's a little different. A boy can walk 3 kilometers in a whole hour. So, how far can he get in just 1/5 of an hour? Well, here we're trying to find a fraction of a whole number. We want to know what 1/5 of 3 is. So we multiply 1/5 by 3, and that gives us 3/5 of a kilometer.
So what happens when you need to take a part of another part? This is the core idea we need to understand when we multiply 2 fractions together. Let's check it out.
Let's imagine this. We've got this tortoise, and he's not exactly a speed demon. In 1 full hour, he only manages to travel 1/4 of a kilometer. So what happens if he only walks for half an hour? How far does he get then? Listen for the most important word in this sentence. He covers half of that 1/4 kilometer. That word of is basically a secret code in math for multiply. Whenever you're asked to find a fraction of another fraction, you multiply. So half of 1/4 gives us 1/8. The tortoise travels 1/8 of a kilometer.
Okay, so we've seen the why with stories and examples. Now for the how, the one simple rule that's going to be your key to solving any fraction multiplication problem every single time.
And here it is. It is so simple. You ready? You just multiply the top numbers, the numerators, straight across to get your new top number. Then you multiply the bottom numbers, the denominators, straight across to get your new bottom number. That's it. Seriously. Tops times tops, bottoms times bottoms.
Okay, now I'm going to let you in on a little secret, a pro tip that makes this whole thing way easier, canceling common factors. Before you multiply, just take a quick look. See if any number on the top has a common factor with any number on the bottom. Like say you were multiplying 2/3 by 3/4. You've got a 3 on top and a 3 on the bottom. You can just cancel them out. Doing this first makes the numbers smaller and the final math so much simpler.
All right, for our last section, we're going to talk about something that might just blow your mind a little bit. Something that kind of breaks a rule you probably learned a long time ago. I want you to think back to when you first learned multiplication, right? You learned that 3 times 4 is 12. It got bigger. 5 times 10 is 50. It got bigger. So it feels like multiplying should always make things bigger. But is that always true? When it comes to fractions, the answer is a big, surprising nope.
This table right here lays it all out. That first row, totally normal. That's what we expect. Multiply 2 numbers bigger than 1, and the answer gets bigger. But look at that second row. This is where it gets wild. When you multiply 2 fractions, 2 numbers that are between 0 and 1, the answer you get is actually smaller than both of the numbers you started with. Remember our tortoise?
1/2 times 1/4 gave us 1/8, and 1/8 is definitely smaller than 1/2 and smaller than 1/4. It makes sense, right? We were taking a part of a part, so the final piece had to be smaller.
So let's just do a super quick rundown of what we've covered. We learned that fractions are really just parts of a whole. Multiplying them just means you're taking a part of a part. We found the one universal rule to solve them all. Multiply the tops, then multiply the bottoms. And we uncovered that cool surprise that sometimes when you multiply, the answer can actually get smaller.
So there you have it. You now have the tools and the understanding to multiply any fraction that comes your way. The mechanics are simple, and hopefully the concept is now crystal clear. So, feeling confident? Because if you can handle this, what's next? Division, maybe?
Thanks for joining me.